Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm super pumped because we are 3 weeks into the spring shred. Everyone is making serious progress towards their summer bodies. They're hitting it hard, and I love seeing the dedication. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. We had a basketball tournament in Ohio. I just got back from a quick girls' trip to Clearwater, Florida. I'm feeling refreshed and renewed, ready to crush May. I cleaned out my fridge and my freezer. Doesn't that feel so good? I found some old overripe bananas and I'm going to make the Clubhouse membership protein banana bread this week. Who doesn't love dessert for breakfast? So, new podcast episode drops every Monday. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. This past week on my Instagram at Kelly Counts Macros, counts with a K, I talked about how important progress pictures are and focusing on non-scale victories. Head over there and give me some love as I'm working on my chin-ups and moving on to working on my pull-ups, which I can do a lot more chin-ups than I can pull-ups, and sometimes I avoid them, so that is one of my goals moving forward. So check me out, give me some love. Interested in the Clubhouse membership? Well, you're in luck. It opens once a year to the public in June, so stay tuned for that. Link will be in the show notes to get on the wait list and be the first one notified when it does open. We will also be doing a free week before it opens, and this will be epic. I love offering that free week so you can see all the value that is added in. The Kelly Counts Macros Clubhouse recipe of the week. This week we made chocolate oatmeal bake, and let me tell you, it's so good. It's packed with yumminess. I serve it in a bowl with almond milk, a few extra mini chocolate chips, and I drizzle peanut butter with some flaked salt on top, and it's so, so good. Clubhouse members get exclusive access to these recipes inside of the app, inside of the Clubhouse. So all of the recipes are in one spot, and you don't have to scroll through social media wondering where you save them. So, of course, I am featured in the My Macros Plus app. Search for me under by brand, Kelly Counts Macros, counts with a K, to find all of my recipes. Clubhouse members have the added bonus, of course, of getting my full recipe book inside of the membership for easy access. Quick favor, would you mind leaving me a review? I read every single one and they help me reach more people. If you haven't yet, please leave a review and hit that follow button. New episodes drop every Monday. Let's change the next generation by ditching the dieting mentality. So today we're diving into my cut. I will review and add my hacks and share so you can be sure to copy it. Have your pen and paper ready and out. So I would love to share my cut results with you. First, what you need to do, it's crucial to periodize your cut or shred. Choose a time that fits your schedule. Now, obviously, no time will be perfect. There will always be events or challenges that come up. During my cut, we had a winery event, multiple weekend trips for basketball and volleyball, and I even got really, really sick for 9 intense days. And it lingered for quite a while, and I didn't have the energy, and I wasn't able to work out during that time. So the reason I chose the timing that I did was very simple. I wanted to start on a Monday and end before a short girls' vacation. I also had a photo shoot planned with my sister for her Train with Kate program. The cut did end up lasting 82 days in total. No special reason that it's 82 days. That's just the way that it lined up. The first thing you should do after deciding on your start and your end date is to take progress pictures and measurement. So many people skip this step. Take the measurements, take the progress pictures. When I take measurements, I use one of those old sewing tapes my mom used to use. I mainly focus on my waist, but ideally, you should be measuring your neck, your bust, your waist, your hips, and your extremities. Record them in a safe place. Personally, I use the Notes app on my phone. Lately, I've also started using my Renfo scale app. That's the weight scale that I use. They have a spot in there where you can do the measurements, and it's easy because you can store them in there and you won't forget where you wrote them down. So after taking pictures and measurements, I calculated my macros For me, it's not about the scale. It's about how I look and how I feel and how my progress pictures are coming along. Knowing I only cut once a year and that I feel most comfortable when I do cut with defined muscles around 115 pounds, I use that as my reference. So I set my protein at 120 grams using the My Macros Plus app. Protein isn't difficult for me. I love it. I crave it. My body responds well. Most days I exceeded 120 grams, even hitting 175 or 185 grams occasionally. I kept things simple, just like I tell my clients, by focusing on calories first and then protein. You do not need to hit your protein that high, but I do love protein, so that's why I exceeded the 120 grams. If I wanted to be 115 pounds during the end of the cut, I multiply that by 10, 11, or 12 to find my calorie range. For me, though, anything under 13 calories doesn't work so well. So I set mine at 1350. I had a few days with planned wiggle room, but I didn't go much over. I accepted the reality that I have a life, kids, travel, and I counted for all of that in advance. Next, I grabbed my consistency calendar, something we use in the Clubhouse and in the shred, and I marked my start and end dates. At the top of the calendar, I wrote my goal, calorie deficit. I also made a larger version where I planned out my workouts weekly. I didn't add in any extra workouts. I stuck with what I normally do. I started with Caroline Gervin's Rev series, and then I moved on to her Iron series. Both are inside of her paid app. They are not the freebies on YouTube. And then about once a week, I would work out with Train with Kate. That's my sister's company. And most weeks, this looked like 4 to 5 strength training sessions, an incline walk on Thursday, and a weekly run with my friend Carolyn and my sister Caitlin. This wasn't because I needed more cardio. It was more for my mental health. Anyone else who's a cardio queen or a runner knows the mental high you get, not just from running, but also from chatting with friends. So when I was sick, I rested. I focused on movement through daily steps and gave myself grace. It's okay to not be okay. I didn't panic. 1 week wouldn't ruin my cut or yours. I was still able to eat and hit my protein goals. It was a head cold, so it was affecting my balance and my hearing, but not my stomach or my lungs. So I kept fueling my body. Each day on the calendar, I logged my macros and calories and recorded my weight first thing in the morning after using the bathroom. I didn't obsess over daily weight fluctuations. I tracked the trend over time. I started at 124 pounds. I was very bloated. My shorts were tight when I was working out, and I finished at 108 pounds. My shorts, like I said, were tight at the beginning, and that discomfort told me it was time for a cut. So I started at 124 and ended up at 108. Of course, your weight is always a range. So starting, I was probably 120 to 124, and then ending, I was probably 108 to maybe 111. So conquering weekends was a big part of the process. We had winery events, sports tournaments, a shopping trip in Cleveland, Easter. I also had my period 3 times during this cut. I marked those days on my calendar with a star and I planned for them ahead of time, giving them the focus that they needed. Yes, I still weigh my food during a cut. Even as a coach, I'm not eyeballing anything. I always get asked if I always weigh my food. No, I don't. It's habit. I know what a serving size is. I know what macros my body needs when I'm in maintenance, but when I'm in a cut, yes, I weigh my food and I track. I weigh every ingredient, especially for recipes that I share in the Clubhouse to ensure accuracy. Meal prep is also huge for me. Mostly prepping protein ready to grab from the fridge to keep me on track. I ate a lot of seafood. I love seafood. It's what I've been craving lately. So then tuna pouches, shrimp, cod, salmon, orange roughy. And we're known for our perch and our walleye near the lake. So I got a lot of that from one of the fresh farmer markets. Loved it. That's what my body was craving. Veggies were another staple. As soon as they arrived in my grocery delivery, yes, I use delivery. You should be too. It saves you money. No impulse buys. I chop them up using my alligator veggie chopper from Amazon as soon as the groceries come in the door. Broccoli slaw, bagged broccoli slaw is my favorite. It's crunchy, it's filling, it's packed with nutrients. I get the organic bag of it from Walmart. I use it as a base for my salads with added protein, and I didn't always use dressing. Sometimes I just use salt and pepper or salsa did the trick. When dining out, I limited it a lot. But one of my top tips that I give to my clients is when you're out, dip the tines of your fork into the dressing and then spear your greens, spear your lettuce. Simple hacks like that make it easier to stay consistent and decrease the calories. I always had my macro-friendly diaper bag with me, filled with staples like dried edamame, legendary protein chips, chomps, jerky sticks, and of course, my tuna pouches. That way, I never got hangry, especially during travel or when running errands. Hunger is not an emergency, but your attitude can shift quickly when you're low on calories. So I stay prepared. I don't like to be hangry. I always have that macro-friendly diaper bag with me. Yogurt Greek bowls were another go-to, Progurt, I call them. So protein yogurt bowls, I'd mix 240 grams of Fage yogurt with 30 grams of Orgain vanilla protein powder, then top it with berries, mini Oreos, or protein bars chopped up like Built Bars. It felt like dessert, but kept me within my macros. Another nightly ritual I loved was my Ninja Creamy. I'm not big on gadgets, but this is one that was worth it. I'd pre-track it daily. My go-to recipe was almond milk and then chocolate protein powder, Beverly protein powder, and use either sugar-free pudding mix for creaminess or the gar gum. Sometimes I'd add mini M&Ms or other mix-ins. There's creamy recipes from the Clubhouse that are amazing. The one tastes like a flurry from Dairy Queen. So as I neared the end of the cut and my weight dipped low, I actually added in 200 calories, about 15 carbs, and 5 grams of fat back in because I wanted to, I started to look older, I guess, with looser skin and less glute volume, less, my rump was kind of I don't going away, and I didn't like that. So while I like the muscle definition, I wanted to look and feel healthy and energetic. So I did end up adding in 200 calories. I did 100 calories first, and then I did another 100 calories. So 2 different times I added in 14 carbs and 5 fat. I focused on how I felt, how my clothes fit, and how I looked in progress pictures. I didn't try to increase weights during workouts. I will say I just aimed to maintain my strength, and I did. My waist went from 31 inches to 25 inches, and I'm super proud and super excited about that. I took measurements at 4 and 6 weeks in, and I could see major progress. Important. I didn't deprive myself of anything. I just had less of certain things. I don't drink much alcohol, but I did have a few drinks with friends or at events. Everything was pre-tracked and all of my food was packed in labeled bags, one for the fridge foods and one for dry goods. And I actually put my name on these bags so none of my kids or my husband would get into them and no one touched them because they were labeled mom and these were already pre-tracked. Like I said, I don't eat out much unless it's non-negotiable and it's a spot that we go to that has fresh ingredients. Typically, I like to go to these places with my husband or my girlfriends. If my kids order pizza, I'd eat what I had prepped. I'm not a big pizza fan. I know, I'm weird. I drank lots of sparkling water. Walmart's Better Goods brand was my favorite at this point for some reason. I love Fresca. You can definitely use these as a mocktail or a fun drink in the evening. My alcohol of choice was vodka. It was measured carefully with either a measuring cup or a shot glass, remembering that a shot is 1.5 ounces, which equals 100 calories, and I always put it in my carbs as 25. So I use the My Macros Plus app to log it accurately. I love the app's copy and paste feature for meals and days. I'm a creature of habit. So breakfast and lunch stayed mostly the same, and I switched up dinners to eat with my family. So breakfast was egg whites with veggies and G. Hughes chili lime sauce. Lunch was usually a big ass salad. Dinner was a protein, a veggie, and a fruit. Plus, I threw in waffle fries, tater tots, or rolls, or whatever it was for the kids. The Clubhouse recipes, I use those over and over. It just kept things exciting, easy to track. I pick a few from the app, make my grocery list, order delivery, and batch cook them. Some of my favorites was the protein edible cookie dough, Marry Me chicken, egg roll in a bowl, the PF Chang's lettuce wraps, the creamy protein treats, and the breakfast quiche. So those were definitely on repeat for me during my cut. The Clubhouse recipes are clickable and enter right into the app. So I would just make them, weigh my portion, and feed my people. In the end, I felt amazing. I had my data, my pictures, my measurements, my calendar notes, and I felt confident going into my vacation. I wasn't deprived. I felt strong, energized, proud. Even with 2 weeks of illness, I rested, recovered, and finished my cut strong. So I hope this breakdown was helpful for you. Please feel free to copy it. If you could, please screenshot this episode and tag me on your stories or on your social media so that I can say thank you. Stop overthinking it. I know you're busy, short on time, overwhelmed with conflicting info. That's why I simplify everything so you can take action now. Mark your calendar for June to join the Clubhouse membership. We are doing an epic July challenge called Chisel. I would love to have you in there. I'm super pumped for this. I would love to have you join me so that you can be in the best shape of your life this summer, staying consistent through the summer and feeling confident by the pool. Thank you for tuning in today. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Remember, it's not about the all or nothing mentality. It's about the all or something mentality. You're always doing better than you think you are. Until next time.